Flight MH370, the plane that vanished without a trace. On March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people took off and simply vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, no explanation. It remains the most expensive search operation in aviation history. Search teams scanned an area larger than the continental United States. And to this day, we still don't know exactly what happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. This is the story of the plane that disappeared into thin air. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 departed Kuala Lumpur at 12:41 a.m. bound for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members. It was a routine red-eye flight, one of thousands that happen every single day. At 1:19 a.m., the last verbal communication came from the cockpit. The pilot said, quote, "Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, the plane's transponder, the device that broadcasts its location to air traffic control, went silent. The plane had vanished from radar, but it hadn't crashed. Military radar later showed the aircraft had changed course, turning sharply westward, away from its planned route to Beijing, and flying back across Malaysia. For the next several hours, the plane continued flying. Satellite data, specifically faint automated handshake signals between the plane and satellite, showed it was still in the air, long after it should have run out of fuel, near its destination. Someone or something kept that plane flying for over 6 hours after contact was lost. The search. Using the satellite handshake data, investigators calculated 2 possible flight paths: a northern corridor towards Central Asia and the southern corridor into the remote Indian Ocean. The northern route was ruled out. Military radar from multiple countries would have detected the plane that left the southern corridor, dozens of miles of open ocean, far from any shipping lane or flight path. What followed was the largest search operation in aviation history. Ships and aircraft from 26 countries scanned an area of the Indian Ocean roughly the size of the continental United States. The search cost over $150 million and lasted years. In 2015, a piece of debris, a wing flaperon, washed ashore on Reunion Island near Madagascar. It was confirmed to be from MH370. Over the following years, more than 24 additional fragments were found scattered along the coastline of Africa and nearby islands. But here's the problem. Debris confirms the plane went down in the ocean. It doesn't explain why, or exactly where the main wreckage rests, or what happened in the cockpit during those final hours. The black box was never found. The full story may never be known. The theories. With no clear answer, multiple theories have emerged. Some backed by evidence, others purely speculative. Theory 1. Pilot involvement. Investigators found that the captain Zahari Ahmad Shah had used the home flight simulator to plot a route strikingly similar to the plane's actual path into the southern Indian Ocean months before the flight. Malaysian authorities maintained this wasn't conclusive evidence of intent, but the simulator data has remained one of the most debated pieces of the case. Theory 2. Mechanical failure or fire. Some experts believe a fire or electrical failure could have incapacitated the crew, leaving the plane an autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed. This would explain the radio silence, but doesn't fully account for the deliberate looking course change. Theory 3. Hijacking. No group ever claimed responsibility and no credible evidence of a hijacking was found. Still, the theory persists, partly because the course change appeared intentional and partly because so much about the flight's final hours remains unexplained. Theory 4. A controlled ditching, far from any search zone. Some investigators believe whoever was at the control deliberately fled the plane into one of the most remote, hard-to-search parts of the ocean on Earth, possibly to avoid detection entirely. In 2018, the official search was suspended without a definitive conclusion. Malaysia's final report stated investigators could not determine the cause of the disappearance. For the 239 families who lost someone on that flight, there has never been a final answer. No confirmed cause, no recovered black box, no closure. Somewhere in the depths of the Indian Ocean lies the truth about Flight 370, and until it's found, it remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of modern aviation. If you want more cases where the facts don't add up, subscribe. There are plenty more unsolved stories ahead.